Welcome you. We're jumping right in today, focusing on getting you the insights you want efficiently.
Exactly. No messing around.
We've got two key sources for this deep dive. The astrological forecast for tomorrow, May 19th, 2025, from Crossroads of Karmic Destiny. That's via Tarot by Heisey.
And paired with that, this really interesting allegorical story, The Crossroads of Ethereum.
Right. And our mission today is to unpack how these astrological vibes for the 19th aren't just, out there in space.
We want to see how they might actually show up for you in your day-to-day, and maybe even hint at bigger societal shifts.
Think of the story, The Crossroads of Ethereum, as like a way to visualize these energies, a kind of parable for right now.
Yeah, a narrative reflection.
Because we're not just tracking planets here, we're trying to tap into the feelings, the undercurrents these energies stir up, where they might be pushing us.
Gently, or maybe not so gently.
Uh-huh. And the big one tomorrow is Jupiter squaring the nodes. Sounds kind of technical, but think of it like a major crossroads.
A cosmic nudge, maybe, to pivot, to level up and integrate some truths.
Okay, so let's start with that first feeling the forecast mentions, being mentally wired and restless. What's behind that?
Well, that feeling, it really connects to Jupiter squaring the nodes. Jupiter, expansion, possibility,
Right.
creating tension, that's the square aspect, with the nodes. And the nodes are about our journey, our lessons.
So that friction, it sparks mental buzz, restlessness.
Exactly. It can manifest as that feeling of your brain just not switching off, and unease.
The forecast also mentions possibly feeling emotionally detached or suddenly becoming like super logical. It seems like a weird combo.
It is a bit strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
But when you're feeling that restless buzz underneath, sometimes the mind tries to grab control by getting really analytical.
Like logic can fix the feeling.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Or the detachment might be a way to just cope. Yeah. To process without getting totally swamped by the tension.
Then there's the suggestion to seek out company, maybe even reconnect with people you've been distant from and understand why the distance happened.
Yeah, that fits with Jupiter wanting to broaden horizons, including relationships, and the nodes often bring up past themes.
So old connections might pop up again.
Could be. And maybe you'll see the old dynamics differently this time, like, that's why that happened. It's an opportunity for insight.
Now, this part really caught my eye. The advice to learn from those on the fringes of society, that they offer unique insights into humanity. That's unexpected.
It is, isn't it? But Jupiter pushes us to look beyond the usual places, the mainstream. Think about it. So many big ideas came from people considered outsiders at the time.
True.
And with Jupiter squaring the nodes, it's all about questioning the status quo. So those unconventional views, they can be incredibly valuable. Wisdom isn't always where you expect it.
Okay, but it also warns about feeling torn or getting into heated ideological debate. That sounds less fun.
Well, squares do mean tension, conflict sometimes. Jupiter's big energy hitting the node's focus path can definitely highlight where beliefs clash.
So, arguments.
Could be, or just feeling pulled in different directions yourself.
Mhm.
It shows where we, maybe collectively too, are grappling with opposing ideas.
And this feels really important, checking our reactions. Like, are we reacting to now or just dragging some old mess into a new moment?
Oh, that's huge. Such a key point. The South Node especially is about our old habits, our past patterns.
Right.
Jupiter's influence here really amps up the need to know the difference. Is this feeling real for today, or is it an echo? That awareness is step one to breaking cycles.
The forecast mentions this belief that just talking things out should be sufficient to fix differences. Is that realistic right now?
Talking is good, obviously, always valuable. But Jupiter square the nodes suggests the roots might go deeper than just misunderstandings you can talk away.
Like deeper patterns, ingrained stuff.
Exactly. Sometimes it takes more than just words to really shift those deeper karmic things or fixed beliefs.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. The idea of striving to detach from limiting thought patterns and fixed opinions, given that wired feeling, that sounds necessary.
Absolutely necessary. Jupiter wants us to see beyond limits. But the square aspect means we have to actively let go of rigid views that aren't helping us grow anymore.
It's about realizing our way isn't the only way.
Precisely. Opening up to other perspectives.
But then there's the caution about potential misunderstandings and more miscommunications. Plus, the mind being more suited to daydreaming than to logic. Sounds tricky.
It can be. That restless energy, scattered thoughts,
Yeah.
maybe jumping to conclusions. Yeah, clear communication takes extra effort.
So be careful how we say things. And maybe don't assume.
Good advice. And that daydreaming part, Maybe it's the mind needing a break from the intensity, needing more intuition, less pure
And
logic.
then this nugget, knowing when a conversation is no longer going anywhere productive will be key. That's just solid life advice, right?
Totally. Amplified now. Recognizing a dead end, saving your energy, respecting others' energy too. It's about being discerning with where you put your focus.
Things seem to shift towards the evening in the forecast. Inspiration to take assertive action for a cause you believe in. Getting involved.
Yes, that restless mental energy finds a positive path,
Yeah.
taking action that matches your values. Jupiter's very action-oriented.
Connecting with purpose, like the nodes suggest.
Exactly. It can fuel this really strong drive to make a difference, to contribute something meaningful,
I love the suggestion to make space for serendipitous encounters and let our inner misfit shine. That feels liberating.
doesn't it? That's pure Jupiter expansion, embracing the unexpected. When you aren't clinging tightly to plans, cool things can happen. New connections.
And letting your unique flag fly, your inner misfit.
It's about authenticity, being okay with the parts of you that don't fit the mold.
Okay, let's really zero in on the core astrological event. Jupiter square the nodes. You called it a karmic crossroads to pivot, level up, and integrate truth. Sounds major.
It really is a key moment. Think of the nodes. South node is old patterns we're leaving behind. North node is where we're heading, our growth direction. When Jupiter, the expander, hits that axis with a challenging square, boom, it's a catalyst,
Pushing us.
pushing us hard, shining a light on where old ways hold us back, urging us towards growth. And that integrating truth part is vital now, facing reality, inside and out.
The forecast says outdated systems, shallow ideologies, and superficial narratives are exposed and forced to evolve. Wow, that feels extremely relevant.
It really does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Uber magnifies things. So societal structures, belief systems that aren't working anymore, they get put under a microscope. The pressure for change intensifies.
You might see old debates flare up,
Yeah.
flawed systems really getting challenged.
Absolutely. It feels like a potential reckoning moment for things that have been coasting along without real substance.
And it's meant to wake us up to where we're stuck between logic and intuition, perfectionism and surrender. Those feel like huge life balances.
They're core human dilemmas, aren't they? This energy challenges us to find a better balance. Mind versus gut feeling, striving versus accepting, control versus letting go.
Seeking a more whole way of being.
That's a good way to put it. More holistic.
It also talks about challenging old patterns, habits, and rigid mindsets while exposing fantasy escapist tendencies, like it's hitting us from both sides.
Exactly. A two-pronged push for authenticity. Confronting our ingrained limits and our tendency to check out, wishful thinking, distractions.
The square forces us to look at both.
It really compels an honest look. No hiding.
And finally, it says conflicts or situations may arise that will reveal exactly where we have been playing small or hiding behind illusions. Sounds uncomfortable, but maybe. Clarifying.
Growth often is uncomfortable,
Yeah.
right? These challenges are like mirrors. They show us where we've limited ourselves, avoided truths.
So an opportunity, even if it's tough.
Definitely an opportunity. A chance to step up, be more real, more empowered.
This seems like the perfect place to bring in the story, the crossroads of Ethereum. It sounds like it brings these energies to life. Tell us about Ethereum, suspended between stars and soil.
It's such a great image. Ethereum captures that feeling of being at a crucial point, connected to everyday reality, soil, but also the bigger cosmic picture, stars.
And the Great Wheel of Fate, turning.
A powerful symbol of cycles, change, mirroring that evolutionary pull of the nodes we were just talking about. Change is inevitable.
But the people there had become stagnant, lulled by soothing songs of false prophets and hollow idols, clinging to shallow illusions.
Right. That sounds exactly like a society stuck in those outdated systems, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Those soothing songs are the comfy beliefs that stop real growth.
And the shallow illusions, the escapism.
Exactly. Avoiding the deeper truths. It's a picture of complacency just waiting for a shakeup.
Then comes the night of the celestial reckoning. Oracle Arindra emerges, calls people to the crossroads of mirrors. That sounds exactly like Jupiter square the nodes playing out.
It really does. The reckoning is that moment. Cosmic forces demand attention. Arindra is the catalyst, the messenger, guiding people to face their truth.
At the crossroads of mirrors.
Yes, the place where they have to confront reality.
And the four paths there. Logis intuition, perfectionism surrender, truth illusion, comfort transformation. Those line up perfectly with the astrological tensions.
It's striking, isn't it? The allegory gives these internal struggles a physical form, distinct paths. The crossroads is that Jupiter square moment time to choose.
We meet Kaelin, who's all duty and fear, and Lyra, lost in fantasies. They seem like perfect examples of those rigid mindsets and escapist tendencies.
Totally. Kalen represents being trapped by logic, by rules, by fear, that restrictive pattern. Lyra shows how tempting it is to just drift away into fantasy, avoiding real life.
They're archetypes almost.
Pretty much. Common ways we get stuck.
And Jupiter's directive from the heavens in the story: choose the path that breaks you open, not the comfortable one. Wow. That directly challenges the escapism.
Exactly. Real growth doesn't happen in a comfort zone. Jupiter's wisdom here is all about embracing the challenges that force us to face our limits, our illusions. That's where expansion happens.
The mirror of Oros reflecting the soul's deepest truths. Potent image. What do Kaelin and Lyra see?
Kalen sees his cage. Made of duty and logic, he sees how it stifled him. Lyra sees herself adrift in fantasies, realizing they've replaced actual purpose, actual life.
Stark realizations.
Very.
Some pilgrims flee, but those who stay find a spark of rebirth. That really hits home. Facing illusions, however hard, can transform us.
Yeah, fleeing is resisting change, fearing truth. But having the courage to stay, to really look, that opens the door to deep transformation, that spark.
And then the old ways crumbling in Etherion, being remade in curious unknowing. That feels like the societal evolution the astrology hints at.
It's a powerful metaphor, isn't it? Old structures breaking down when they don't serve anymore. And that curious unknowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, change is uncertain, but it holds so much potential for something new, something more authentic.
Jupiter's final message in the story: write your own stories, integrate truth, trade perfection for presence, logic for wisdom, fear for wild hope. It wraps it all up perfectly.
It really does. It's the essence of navigating this Jupiter node's energy. Take charge of your narrative, ground yourself in what's real, embrace imperfection, seek deeper wisdom beyond just intellect, and dare to hope, even when things feel uncertain.
Leading to the era of reckoning and radiance, where people aren't afraid to pivot, to evolve. That's the potential outcome.
It's a compelling vision, right?
Yeah.
What happens when we're willing to face our limits and embrace change? That willingness to pivot, step into the unknown. That's the key.
So let's bring this right back to you, listening now. How might these astrological influences for May 19th and the story of Etherion be showing up in your life?
Yeah, think about it. Where are you feeling that push-pull? Logic versus intuition. Where are you chasing perfection? Maybe needing to just surrender a bit.
Are there truths you're kind of avoiding? Illusions you're clinging to? Places where you're picking comfort over real transformation?
And what about those outdated systems? Not just out there, but in your life. Old routines, beliefs you've outgrown, shallow ideas you maybe picked up somewhere.
Superficial stories you tell yourself. Is it time for an update?
It's a great time to really look at the beliefs and structures in your life that just don't feel right anymore. Have you maybe settled for easy answers, avoided the deeper questions?
Can you spot any illusions you might be hiding behind, like the forecast said, or ways you're playing small because of fear or just habit?
Take a moment, reflect. Where are you holding yourself back? Are there comfy illusions keeping you from a more real, more empowered place?
And those feelings of restlessness, or even those disagreements you might get into, could they actually be signals? Opportunities to get clearer on what you truly believe, what your core values are.
Yeah, pay attention to what gets a reaction out of you. Those triggers often point to underlying assumptions that might need another look.
And that idea of insights from the fringe, from unexpected places. Are you open to that? Open to perspectives that challenge your usual thinking?
Maybe actively seek out different voices. You might be surprised what you learn, what wisdom you find off the beaten path.
And finally, is there a cause? Something you really care about deep down? Do you feel that spark now, that inspiration to actually do something about it, take some assertive action?
This energy can really give you that nudge, that boost of courage to step up and make a difference where it matters to you.
So wrapping up this deep dive, the core message feels pretty clear. Tomorrow, May 19th, 2025, holds this really potent energy for growth. Personal growth, collective growth.
It mirrors that journey in the forecast at the karmic crossroads and the choices made in Etherion. It's a moment to embrace the messy process of evolving.
To actively seek truth even when it's uncomfortable, and to step forward with courage, right, into the unknown.
Trusting your own ability to transform, it's all there.
So here's a final thought for you to chew on. Think about just one old mess, one old pattern or story that you might be tempted to drag into a new situation. What would it actually look like, feel like, to truly leave it behind, to step into that curious unknowing of right now? Something to consider. Until our next deep dive.